Greetings and welcome to another segment of our English news right here on TMH with me, Delithna Dewalko. Moving on to our headlines, Abiy Ahmed's regime conducts a drone attack in the middle of the night in the city of Ma'ala, targeting civilians. Nobel Peace Prize winner Abiy Ahmed says he will lead the war from the battlefront and urges people to go to war and join him. And 15 children die of malnutrition and lack of medicine at St. Mary Hospital in the city of Aksum. Abiy Ahmed's regime conducts a drone attack in the city of Ma'ala, targeting civilians in the middle of the night. And the two-time drone attack on Sunday took place at 1 a.m., hitting a residential area in Ma'ala, causing civilian casualties and damage to residential homes. AU Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Olusegun Obasanjo, was in the region just a couple of hours before the drone attack took place. It's become an unmistakable pattern for Abiy to target residential quarters in Tigray whenever his forces are dealt a harsh blow in the battlefield, wrote Getachew Reda, member of the Tigray Armed Forces Central Command, on his official Twitter account. Abiy Ahmed says he will lead his country's army from the battlefront beginning Tuesday. This is the time when leading a country with martyrdom is needed, and the Prime Minister said in a statement posted on social media Monday night. An estimated tens of thousands of people have been killed in the war between Ethiopia and allied forces and the fighters from the country's northern Tigray region, who are now moving closer to the capital of Addis Ababa. The statement by the Prime Minister, a former soldier, did not say where exactly he will go on Tuesday. His spokeswoman, Belena Siyom, did not respond for a request for comment. "Let's meet people at the battlefront," said the 45-year-old Ethiopia's Nobel Peace Prize winner, urging the people to join him in war. In response, the spokesman for the Tigray forces, Getachew Reda, tweeted that Abiy's mimicry of Ethiopia's wartime emperors has taken an all too palpable schizophrenic overtone. "Our forces won't relent on this inexorable advance toward bringing Abiy's chokehold on our people to an end," he wrote on his Twitter. The Tigray forces said that they are pressuring Ethiopia's government to lift month-long blockade imposed on Tigray region of some 6 million people, but they also want Abiy out of power immediately. The Prime Minister's statements also claim that the West is trying to defeat Ethiopia, the latest pushback against what his government has described as meddling by the international community. And U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Friday said Abiy Ahmed must fulfill his responsibility and end the violence in the country. The Prime Minister chaired an executive meeting Monday of the ruling Prosperity Party, and Defense Minister Abraham Belai told state media that all security forces will start taking what he called special measures and tactics as of Tuesday, and he declined to elaborate. Abiy's announcement brought shock from the man who nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize, Awol Allo, a senior lecturer in law at Keele University in Britain. The announcement is replete with languages of martyrdom and sacrifice, he said in a tweet. He added the message is so extraordinary and unprecedented that it shows how desperate Abiy really is. 15 children die of malnutrition and lack of medicine at the St. Mary Hospital in Aksum, and medical personnel at the hospital blame Abiy Ahmed's siege for the deaths, as reported by Tigray television. Berhana Weldu, pediatrician at the hospital, told Tigray television that the death of children at the hospital is at the direct result of the total siege placed by Abiy Ahmed's government on the people of Tigray. He was also quoted saying that the people are suffering as a result of the starvation and the lack of medicine across the whole region, and that the hospital in the last 4 months have been following up cases of 610 children admitted to their hospital, which of at least 138 of them are malnourished, and 15 have died due to the lack of medicine and malnutrition. The mother also said that their children being exposed to various illnesses due to hunger, including low blood pressure, and that they also have nothing to eat. As they come from this children's situation got worse, the illnesses must be due to malnutrition. Medical personnel at the St. Mary Hospital in Aksum said Abiy Ahmed and Isaias Afwerki had destroyed and looted hospitals when they were occupying the historical city. Aid organizations say emergency response effort in Tigray continues to be hampered by the disruption and the suspension of electricity, telephone, and internet networks, banking services, fuel shortages, and logistical challenges in transporting critical supplies, including essential drugs. The denial of access to aid trucks and fuel trucks has created a blockage of more than 2,500 metric tons of aid supplies waiting to be transported into the city of Ma'ala. Children and adults with underlying illnesses at Endamahoni in Tigray's southern zone say that they are suffering due to the lack of access in medicine. Pregnant and lactating mothers in the areas are particularly affected the most. A woman was quoted saying that they're going through a lot of suffering and stress due to the lack of access to medicine, and the fact that the mothers are lactating and sick without enough food to go by on a daily basis has affected them and exposed them to malnutrition. They also have high blood pressure and highly stressed over the suffering from acute headaches and taking medicine for 8 years now that they are no longer available to them. Representatives of Endamahoni Health Center, Red Day Gabramedin, is the non-availability of medicine is compounded by lack of food. There's no medicine at all, no medicine for children, no medicine for adults, and there's a special drug for pregnant women that should be taken 72 hours before they give birth that is also not available for these women. Children and those on antiretroviral treatments are especially most affected as they have limited immunity. The patients and medical personnel at the health centers called on international community to put enough pressure on Abiy Ahmed's government with the aim of lifting the siege imposed on the people of Tigray. UN Security Council fails to agree on statement calling for a ceasefire in Ethiopia. And the 15-member United Nations Security Council failed to agree on adopting a statement calling for a ceasefire in Tigray, Ethiopia, and expressing concern about alleged arrests based on ethnic identity. The draft text submitted by Ireland, a non-permanent member of the Council, was rejected by China and Russia and was abandoned on Friday night, diplomatic sources affirmed. Several other diplomatic sources said that there is no agreement and that the Russian diplomatic mission acknowledged the existence of a dispute over text while it was not possible to obtain an immediate confirmation and comment from the Chinese mission. According to the draft text obtained by AFP, the Council called for an unimpeded humanitarian access and an end to hostilities and the launch of a comprehensive national dialogue in the capital of Ethiopia. The draft stresses the council members' concerns about reports of large-scale arrests in the city, and on the basis of ethnic identity without due process, it also denounces hate speech in the process. Ethiopia considers withdrawing licenses of foreign news agencies, and Ethiopia said it would consider revoking the licenses of CNN, the British Broadcasting Corporation, the Associated Press, and Thomson Reuters Corporation for alleged reportage that authorities say could endanger the interests and the peacefulness of the coexisting of people in the Horn of African nation. Country's Media Authority Director General Mohammed Idris Mohammed on Friday sent warning letters to the media houses, claiming that the four media houses are seeking to discredit the country's leadership in the international arena and put the country under intense and diplomatic pressure. The media authority claimed that the media houses in the East African Bureau have continued to report that the law enforcement operations as a genocidal campaign, hence undermining the government's efforts to address the humanitarian crisis in the Tigray region. In the notices to the media house, Mohammed claimed that the reporting the media outlets have been making and reporting that the government is using famine and rape as a weapon of war in Tigray have continued to produce defamatory reports on the country's misleading institutions. Information Network Security Agency urges local and foreign institutions and diplomats and other individuals to register communication equipment in the next 15 days. INSA said in a statement that measure of part of a necessary precaution to prevent and the threat to Ethiopia's existence, territorial integrity, as well as sovereignty. INSA said it has decided to re-register their devices in order to prevent them from use by terrorism and their accomplices. We therefore urge any individual, institution, embassy, or diplomat, public or safety security agencies, import and exporters involved in communication and communication equipment to notify the Information Network Security Agency as soon as 15 days. The list of equipment includes military reconnaissance equipment, binoculars, compass, GPS devices, military and civilian communications equipment, walkie-talkie radios, satellite phones, a very small aperture terminal, and a broadband global area network, as well as drones. INSA also urged anyone who has seen the use of these communication devices in the hands of individuals or institutions to contact the agency immediately. That wraps up our news for the day. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.